Hello learners. Hello learners. In this video I'm going to talk about Memorandum of Association. Memorandum of Association is a very important document for any company since no company can be registered without its own Memorandum of Association. Basically in a company there are two important documents. One is Memorandum of Association, the other one is Articles of Association. But compared to the articles, since Memorandum of Association is most important, that's why it is called as a primary document. And it is a document which regulates the company's external activities. That is, the relationship of the company with the outsiders is regulated with the Memorandum of Association. Okay, and it is Memorandum of Association basically contains the fundamental conditions upon which the company is allowed to be incorporated and registered, and it also defines the limitations on the powers of the company. Now let's look into the clauses of Memorandum of Association. The first clause is name clause. The name clause states the name of the company. Okay, if it's a private company, it should end with the words private limited, and if it's a public company, it should end with the words limited. Situation clause. Situation clause contains the name of the state in which the registered office of the company will be situated. And then next we have is the objects clause. Now this objects clause contains detailed descriptions about the objects or the goals of the company which it intends to achieve through establishing the company, and even the details regarding the rights of the company are also mentioned over here. And basically great attention should be paid when you're making the objects clause, because once a company is incorporated, okay, after submission of this Memorandum of Association, the objects clause is very difficult to alter. Liability clause. Liability clause contains the details regarding the liability of the company. Now basically we all know that there are three types of liabilities. Okay, one is limited by shares, limited by guarantee, and unlimited liability. Okay, now limited by shares. Limited by shares actually means that supposing Mr. A is a shareholder and he has 10,000 shares. Limited by shares means in the event the company suffers a loss, Mr. A will be called upon to pay only the value of unpaid which is unpaid on his shares, only to the extent of 10,000. Limited by guarantee is supposing Mr. A, apart from 10,000 shares, he is agreeing to pay another 10%, another 5,000 or something in the event the company suffers a loss. So limited by guarantee, Mr. A will have to pay 10,000 share value which he has plus that 5,000. Apart from that, he is not supposed to pay any other things, no matter what the liability of the company is. Unlimited liability is where no matter even the personal assets, okay, of the shareholders are at stake, so to cover up the losses of the company. The next which we have is capital clause. Now capital clause contains details regarding the authorized capital of the company, then the different types of shares which the company proposes to issue, then details, okay, other details like the amount of minimum subscription and all that will be mentioned in the capital clause. Okay, now basically the minimum subscription clause will come only in the third stage after the prospectus is made. Okay, but still in the capital clause you will give details, okay, that if the minimum subscription is not received, then the company cannot commence its business. And the last is subscription clause. Now this contains the names and addresses of at least 7 members in the case of public company and at least 2 members in the case of private company. And when the people who are subscribing, giving their signatories to the subscription clause, these people agree to associate themselves, okay, with the undertaking which is going to be registered as a company. Now let's look into the procedure for the alteration of the various clauses of Memorandum of Association. Now the first clause in Memorandum of Association was the name clause. Now the name clause of the Memorandum of Association is altered when the promoters of the company or the directors of the company want to change the name of the company after it has been registered. So when you want to change the name of the company, then in that case the directors the directors of the company should take a special resolution from the shareholders. Now the resolutions means decisions in a company. And ordinary resolution means if 50% of the shareholders agree, then it is called as an ordinary resolution. And if 2/3 of the shareholders should agree for a decision to be taken, it is called as a special resolution. So the name of the clause can be altered only if 2/3 of the shareholders agree for the change of name. So before taking the special resolution, the secretary should perform these formalities. The secretary should convene a meeting of the board of directors. Then in the meeting of the board of directors, the directors will submit a name availability form to the registrar, where they will ascertain the availability of proposed names. And once the directors get details about the availability of proposed names, they will finalize the in order to finalize the names, they will first conduct an extraordinary. Generally, in a year, we have one general meeting of the shareholders, which is called as an annual general meeting. So apart from an annual general meeting, any other meeting of the shareholders is called as an extraordinary general meeting. Then after in the extraordinary general meeting, the shareholders will be informed about the proposed changes in the names. And then finally, if the shareholders agree, that is 2/3 of the majority agree, then a special resolution is deemed to be passed. Then a copy of this special resolution has to be filed with the registrar. And finally, the registrar will issue a new certificate of incorporation or registration. Since the name of the company has been changed, all the documents on which the name of the company was, the former name of the company is there, all those documents should also be changed. So this is basically the procedure for the alteration of the name clause. Now moving on to alteration of domicile clause. Domicile here actually means the situation clause. Now in this clause, we contains details regarding the registered office of the company. If the new registered office is within the same city in which the former registered office was located, like in Bangalore only, if you're from one area you're moving to another area, the registered office, then in that case an ordinary resolution just by the board of directors is enough to make the change in alteration of domicile clause. And again, if it is within the same state also, that is within the state of Karnataka itself, from maybe Bangalore you're moving to some other district like Kolar or something, then in that case also this an ordinary resolution by the board of directors is enough to effect this change. Whereas if the state, and once you make this change, you should just inform the registrar. Whereas if the the registered office of the company is changed from one state to another, that is, there is interstate transfer movement, moving of the registered office from one state to another, then in that case a special resolution has to be filed, and the copy of the special resolution should be filed with the registrar. Next, alteration of the objects clause and capital clause. In both, objects clause is when you are expanding the business or you are entering into new lines of business, then in that case the object clause of the business has to be altered. Capital clause is altered when you are either increasing the authorized capital or you are going for reduction in capital, in that, or if you are altering the capital structure of the company, then in that case again the capital clause is changed. In both the cases, a special resolution of the board of directors has to be passed, and apart from not only a special resolution by the board of directors, a special resolution should be passed by the shareholders. So this has to be done. So when you're doing the formalities for completing the special resolution are just similar like how we studied under the name clause. That is, first a meeting of the board of directors will be convened. Then you will then in that meeting of the board of directors, you will decide the date to conduct the extraordinary general meeting, and in the extraordinary general meeting of the shareholders, the special resolution should be passed by the shareholders. So once the special resolution has been passed, a copy of the resolution should be filed with the registrar.